presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's game 2 tonight of 4 between the Royals and the Indians, with Cleveland winning last night 8-3. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Chris Medlin starts tonight. The Royals could really use a good start. They could use a big hit. And if you're wondering who's going to get that big hit, it could be Alex Gordon. The Royals were 14 games above 500 when he was out, and now that he's back, he looks like he was never gone.
All aboard. Everybody jump on. Alex Gordon, to me, looks better than when he left. He looks so calm. He's patient. He's rested. You know, his body language with the bat in his hand is very comfortable. He's not jumping. He's reacting. That's what Dale Swain wants out of his hitters. Just sit and relax and hit it. Now, we talked about the swagger last night. Didn't see any swagger, but this guy has it internally. Not an outward guy. Talks with his bat. Loves to be productive at the top of that lineup, and let him be that driver. It could be fun to watch him tonight. Stay hot.
Our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. And the Royals really need a good starting effort from Chris Medlin. Joel and Monty will discuss that when we come back to Cleveland.
From shoulder surgery, he's been very good. He also has reverse splits, excellent against lefties, but Alex Gordon has done well against him in his career. Mike Moustakas also has done well and has 2 homers. Eric Hosmer has gone deep once against Josh Tomlin. Welcome back to Progressive Field by the visitors' dugout. Joel Goldberg and Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and we can talk about hitting and getting to Josh Tomlin, but first and foremost with this team, especially lately, it's going to come down to whether they can get the pitching, and they have struggled. Just 3 quality starts in the last 15 games, and let's take a closer look at tonight's starter and Chris Medlin in our AT&T U-verse rewind. He had a quality start in his last outing. 2 outings ago, Monty, he got rocked by the White Sox, 11 hits and 7 runs. Last time, though, 3 hits and 2 runs. What adjustments did he make?
Right, he had a much better curveball, had a much better changeup in his last outing against the Twins. The Royals were looking for a good outing from him, and they got it. But the big adjustment he made a small tweak in his mechanics where he's staying above the rubber, staying tall, as he likes to put it. And that's not real easy for a guy that's only 5 feet 10 inches. But Chris Medlin did a nice job in making the adjustment.
A beautiful night for baseball in Cleveland. The 14th meeting between the Royals and the Indians. KC's won 7 of those. First pitch coming up next.
And now,
Ball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. Weather has been absolutely perfect. High temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s. The Royals lead now over Toronto for the best record in the American League is 2 games. Toronto is beginning a series tonight in Atlanta. Rios continues to be calm, and last night after the game compared the Royals' recent slide to having the flu. When you've got the flu, there's not a whole lot you can do. You just have to let it run its course, and then you'll feel fine, and hopefully we are getting to the end of that course.
Yep, let's hope so, but he feels really good having this guy leading off, though, I can tell you that. Gordon, Zobrist, they've done a nice job at the top of the order. Like to get some of the other guys involved, too. Be nice to have more than 1 or 2 guys hot. Escobar, in particular, at 255, that's not him. He'd like to be up around 270, 280 at least. Shorten up that swing a little bit, see if they can get some production off of Tomlin.
30-year-old Josh Tomlin, who is coming back from shoulder surgery, not last year, shoulder surgery earlier this year.
Yeah, when I heard that, talking with their pitching coach, Mickey Callaway, I said, really, in April you had he had his bones shaved? I mean, that's pretty serious surgery. This guy, he's a battler, he's a competitor, and believe me, he's not overpowering, but he hits his spots, and if he's on, he could present some trouble for the Royals. Opponent's only hitting 180 off him, and he's just thrown 41 innings, but look at the walks, only 3. He's a strike thrower. That fits the Royals perfectly. They love to swing on contact and be aggressive. And we're going to see Chris Johnson for the first time over there at first base.
So Carlos Santana will be the designated hitter, with Johnson at first, coming over in the trade with the Braves that sent Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne to Atlanta. And our umpiring crew, there's the crew chief, Jeff Nelson at third. Corey Blazer is back at the plate. Ben May is at first. Chris Guccione is at second. Last night, the very first pitch of the game ended up on the other side of the wall in right center field as Alex Gordon greeted Carlos Carrasco with his 12th home run, and that ended up being the only run Carrasco allowed in 6 innings. Tonight, Alex takes a little bit outside for ball 1.
Made sure to keep that one away from him.
And that ball's hit well to right field. Going back is Chisenhall, and he'll make a nice running play. We were talking about Chisenhall last night, making the switch from third base to right field, and it's been a pretty smooth transition so far.
Couldn't quite tell by the sound, but I didn't think he got it all. I mean, he hit the ball hard, and Tomlin came right back there with that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. That's what he throws. That's his max on his pitches. Chisenhall with a good break back. He's able to record the first out.
And now Ben Zobrist with 1 out. I guess it's somewhat appropriate that Alex hit that ball that Chisenhall ran down, because Alex did the same thing, making the transition from third base to the outfield very smoothly. And now Zobrist pulls it foul, and it's 0-2.
Okay, I mentioned Tomlin not overpowering. He'll go maybe 87 to 90 at max, but he's mainly a cut fastball, curveball, changeup guy. His curveball we have highlighted there because he's been so good. Not too many people are hitting it. But he's going to save that and use that a little bit later as his main weapon. But right now he's trying to gauge his fastball and his cutter to see how the Royals look at it. And so far they're on him. Royals know that he's a strike thrower, so they can go up there and get in hit mode right away.
Just outside. That's the cutter. 1-2. Zobrist drove in a run with an infield single last night and had 2 walks. So giving the Royals what they had hoped for: hits, getting on base with walks. .323 as a Royal. He is 7th in the American League in on base percentage, so a perfect guy for the top of the order. And another good eye. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Tomlin works quick, and with any guy, sinker baller, his 2-seamer sinks, he's going to work quick and use that defense. Changeup is his least used pitch. Has some success. We showed you against the lefties this season. They're just hitting a $110 off him. He's got a good cutter. He cuts it in on lefties and gets a lot of ground ball outs.
And that's hit well to right center field, and run down by Almonte. And that's happened a lot to the Royals over their recent slide. With 8 losses over the last 10 games, they have brought out the best lately in their opponent's defense.
All you can do is hit it hard. Can't control where it goes. First 2 hitters, they're on him.
Lorenzo Cain had a 2-hit game last night.
Cain 4 for 8 in his career off Tomlin.
And that's hit well. Slicing over toward right, and Chisenhall runs it down. So hard hit, but harmless. The Royals get 3 good swings against Tomlin, and now Medlin takes the mound when we come back. bottom of the first inning, hanging on to their wild card lives. Last night, Cleveland, Minnesota, Texas, and New York all won in the wild card race. And now the Indians, they're just a half game back of the Angels. We're expected to win their division, and they are falling fast. And now Terry Francona's lineup, and his offense has really spiked over the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. The Indians are averaging over 5 runs per game in their last 18 games, and they scored 8 runs on 12 hits last night to take game 1 from the Royals, and we'll see how they do tonight against Chris Medlin. Medlin is one of the best after the All-Star break, as Kia puts us in the driver's seat. That 2.47 ERA is the second best in the major leagues, trailing only Clayton Kershaw since Chris Medlin became a big leaguer.
Well, knowing how to finish is really important, and that's the mark of a real pro, especially if you're a veteran. You like to see heavier numbers, better numbers as you go into the off season. Strong finishers, they end up getting a good contract the next year. Now Medlin, in his case, they signed him to a 2-year deal before the start of the season. Smart move.
On the ground is Zobrist, and Kipnis is out, number 1.
And just on cue, for defense of the Royals, Zobrist. 8 start at second base. Looks like he could be finding a home there. Very steady. Gordo, Kane, Rios in the outfield. Hosmer and Moose on the corners.
Now shortstop Francisco Lindor. He's had a very good season against the Royals, and last night walked twice, scored both times, and then could have had an inside the park home run, but he thought the ball he hit off the top of the right field wall had gone over, and ended up with an RBI triple and made some good plays on defense.
They really like his maturity. He's got a good eye up there at the plate. 12 sacrifice bunts. He fits that number 2 hole perfectly. And for Medlin, 3 pitches. He doesn't mess around. Has good command with all of them. In his last start, he was really good in his last start. He dealt. He had a no-hitter through 6 innings. He was good. Excuse me, through 5. His fastball, curveball, changeup. He's got good command with him, and he works quickly.
It's very rare today to see a pitcher's breakdown, and there are only 3 pitches. Hit well to left center field, and that is going to be off the wall. Lindor is at second base with 1 out.
Obviously, it's important for pitchers, especially over the last 5 games. They've been giving up a lot of home runs, especially 18 to the Tribe this year. So keeping it in the ballpark is important. Medlin's given up 3 to right-handed bats, 2 to left-handed bats, as that was a nice, good level swing. But he's allowed 1 home run in each of his 4 starts. So somebody might touch him up. The solo home runs you can live with. It's the home runs with runners on that really hurt.
And now Michael Brantley with a runner in scoring position. He had a 3-hit game last night and scored a run. Batting at .320, Michael Brantley, and that is 3rd in the league. He's also 3rd in on-base percentage. Good movement with that fastball. 0-1. Since the All-Star break, the runner at second base and the man at the plate have been the best in the American League as far as batting average goes. And I think for Lindor, that's probably more impressive than Brantley, because a young player sometimes gets off to a good start, then the league figures him out. If a young player is still doing well in the second half, then it proves that he can make adjustments.
That's right. I like the adjustment he made on his socks. He's going with some high red stirrups. Brantley tough. He sprays the ball around. Hits it where it's pitched. Looks like Medlin's trying to get him with fastballs up. Good hitter with a runner in scoring position too. 323.
Got him to pop it up. Hosmer has plenty of room. 2 down.
Oh, you like that out. That's easy. He's staying with the high fastballs. That's exactly what he wanted to do.
Now Carlos Santana with Lindor at second base. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, and the Indians have been a much better team overall in the second half, and especially at home. They got off to a terrible start at home this year. They were one of the best in the major leagues in 2013 and 2014 at home, and now they're just picking it up in the second half this year, and especially on offense. Santana takes a fastball high.
They don't lack any confidence. Santana not having one of his best seasons offensively. It's pretty much all or nothing. He's swinging for the fences almost every time. Might get another pop up out of him. He stays up in the zone. Be careful, because he does have some pop. 248 with a runner in scoring position. Zobrist playing a shallow right field.
A little bit inside, 3-0. And even with that huge swing, Carlos Santana will take his walks.
He'll also swing away 3-0 if he gets a cookie down the middle, because he knows most pitchers think he's wanting that walk.
Good movement, 3-1.
He's got some good life to his two-seamer.
Santana walked twice last night against Royals pitching and scored a run to take over the lead in that category. And now he will walk for the 95th time this year. And Medlin has 2 runners to deal with Lonnie Chisenhall coming up. Indians last night scored 8 runs. Chisenhall drove in 3 of the 8 runs. RBI double, sacrifice fly, and a run scoring single.
He's a hot bat and he's looking to pull. Medlin mixing it up early. Curveball first pitch. Had a chance to talk with Chisenhall before the game. Ask him about how he likes right field. He said, whatever is best for the team, I'm all for. It's the team first, me second. And for me, it allows me an opportunity to play different spots, and the diamond makes me more attractive out there for other teams. So I like the order he's got. He's got good order. It's the team and then me. Whenever you hear a player talk like that, that's good. He's had his way with the Royals.
And it really can free up his mind as well. I mean, third base is a high pressure position, and if a guy's not producing at the plate, he can take those struggles into the field, where maybe it's a little more, the mind is able to relax a little more in the outfield. Medlin has fallen behind 3-0 on back-to-back hitters.
Yeah, you're right. He brought up that guy right there. He said, you know, I really admire Alex in the transition he made from third to the outfield, and he says, I can do the same thing. I'd like to be able to think I could. He likes how Alex gets the ball in so quickly because of his infield days. He's short with his feet. He's got good footwork. He's quick. He can throw guys out on the run. So Chisenhall's a disciple of the coordinator, as many others are as well.
Back to Medlin. Good fielder, good footwork, and he still gets the out. So the Indians leave 2 on base, and we have no score at the end of 1.
No panic. Nice control.
Family out to the Kansas City Renaissance Festival. Experience the all-new zip line and daily craft beer tastings. Open every weekend from now through October 18th, plus Columbus Day. Ground ball right side, and Eric Hosmer is on with a leadoff single after being hitless last night. Royals hit the daylights out of 2 balls in the first inning against Tomlin, Gordon, and Zobrist. But the Indians made good plays in the outfield, and even Kane flied out to deep right. So good swings so far for the first 4 hitters against Tomlin.
Well, you know, you can watch the Royals swing early in the count because it looks like he's going to give him something to pitch or to hit. And a guy that doesn't walk many, he wants strike 1 in the worst way. Find the holes, just like Haas did.
Outside to Kendrys Morales. He lost an 8-game hitting streak last night. Made one of the biggest outs against Carlos Carrasco. Royals in the 6th inning with 2 outs, loaded the bases in a game where they were down 4-1. And Morales came up and hit one right on the button, but right to the shortstop Lindor, and that ended up being the last man that Carrasco faced. Over the inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good pitch there. He wants to tie him up. Morales is the only Royals hitter who's never faced Tomlin before. Everybody else has pretty good numbers, especially in the bottom half. From Moose on, there's some good numbers.
1 and 2.
It's a pretty good pass to left field there. He was trying to hit one of those large holes that are on the left side. Morales, smart hitter. He just wants to keep the line moving. You see all of this room here, and he loves shooting those areas. Anything middle away, he's not going to try to pull it.
It's the second time that Tomlin has tried to pick off Hosmer, who has a 7-inch lead over at first base.
Tomlin a little bit nervous maybe about the Royals running game. I don't know why he would even be worried about Hosmer right here with Morales up there. He's not going to take a chance on an out. Get thrown out. Ooh. Just missed that one. Boy, I mean, that's a big one too. That's a big hammer. That started up around his neck, and it was a little bit up. Those are pitches that can be hit a long way when you give a hitter that long to look at it.
Again. Hosmer's saying, look at my lead. I mean, not even a foot off the bag. Still 2-2 on Morales. Royals have a stolen base in just one of the last 12 games, and it was about this time last year when Ned Yost switched up the lineup with more of an emphasis on speed, and the Royals, who led the league in stolen bases, really started to put fear in the opposing pitchers. And they haven't done that much lately. So that could be a way to get the offense going, although this is certainly not being hung all on the offense. The Royals' recent slide, they could use a good start from Chris Medlin, and yet it's been a while since the Royals' running game has made the opponent uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, they have a different offensive mindset now. It's a runner at first base is a runner in scoring position. The way this offense is designed, a lot of doubles. And Morales continuing to battle. That's the best pitch in the entire at bat. Tomlin's really been fortunate. Morales hasn't tagged him to the opposite field with some of these high fastballs he's laying in there, and he doesn't have the velocity to get it by anybody up there in the zone. So he can get in trouble if he's not down.
What is he doing? Hosmer almost appears to be shortening his lead every time just to get Tomlin off of his back. I mean, you can't have a smaller lead.
And you take your focus off that hitter, especially this hitter. Oh, it's a good try there. It could really hurt you. You got to keep your focus on Morales and executing the pitch here. Because Morales has got a really nice at bat going here in his first time up. Ninth pitch coming.
Hit hard and pulled foul.
He is all over Tomlin.
Royals have been all over Tomlin. Gordon flied out to deep right field. Chisenhall ran to the warning track to get it. Zobrist lined to center. Almonte ran to the warning track to get it. Kane flied to the warning track in first base, or in the first inning. And now Hosmer opens the second inning with a single. Hit hard to Johnson. And another well hit ball turns into an out. 2 outs.
Cutter. The cutter up and in there. Morales couldn't get it up to get over his head. And he grounded his 24th double play.
Two outs to Mike Moustakas, who has a couple of home runs in his career against Tomlin. Got a base hit late in the game last night. He was 1 for 4. 2-0.
Got to wait on him. Moose knows that. That stride there was a little bit too anxious. You can use that whole field, and he's been excellent at that this season. Playing him to pull.
Got him to pop up a 3-0 pitch.
Can't see it. Thank you. Maybe that'll be a bonus. How about that?
It was closer to Mike Moustakas than anybody else.
Yeah, you know, and when I looked up for it, I lost it too here in the booth, and I looked down immediately at Yan Gomes, and he was like, I don't have a clue where it is. And Tomlin, I don't think he saw it either. Most pitchers, if they see it, they'll come make the catch, but nobody did it. Home plate umpire Corey Blazer, he almost got doinked with it. He didn't see it.
And given another chance, Mike Moustakas hits it hard to center field, and it's off the wall. Almonte did not read it well. So another hard hit ball for the Royals against Tomlin. Moustakas is on with a 2-out double.
Oh, if you're a hitter, you love that. Get another chance. Got a pitch up. Tomlin's been up the whole game. Royals haven't been able to put one across the plate yet. Got extended. That ball was on the outer half. He got extended. And El Monte kid, I don't think he saw it very well either. At least he acted like he didn't. And that ball technically should have been caught. See if the Royals can take advantage. And now Salvi stepping in 7 for 9 with a homer off of Tomlin in his career. See if they can make it hurt.
Good swing. No balls, 1 strike. 2-hit game for Salvador Perez last night. And he's had a good road trip, hitting just under .440 with 4 runs driven in. His next home run will tie the Royals record for a catcher. And the ball gets away from Gomes. No balls, 2 strikes on Perez. Moustakas moves up to third.
Salvi didn't want that, but I can guarantee you now 0-2, he's going to see it again. Salvi just hopes he hangs it.
And to center field, base hit. So the missed pop-up, the missed play in center field leads to a run. Now Salvador Perez is 8 for 10 against Tomlin, and the Royals lead 1-0.
You can't do that against the Royals. I mean, you know, you give it to a team like the Royals, even though as bad as they've been going, they still know how to do it. They know how to take advantage of the opponent's mistakes. There's a good example of it.
And now Alex Rios with Perez at first base, 2 down. Royals have given Rios every opportunity to work through his struggles. Coming back from a broken hand, coming back from chicken pox. Rios. Now Tomlin throws over, and Salvador Perez was standing on the bag blowing a bubble. Rios is hitting .429 on this trip. He has hit in 5 straight games. Pulled off it. 1 ball, 1 strike. I guess pitchers, or at least in Tomlin's case, you don't look over at your shoulder to see what kind of lead the runner has.
Obviously that, or he's having some issues with his peripheral vision.
One and two on Rios.
Good idea by Rios. Tomlin going heavy with the two-seam sinking fastball and his cutter. Occasional curves and even less amount of changeups. Not a lot of them.
Two and two. Fastball got him looking, so he's expecting something off speed. Tomlin strikes out his first. The Royals get a couple of breaks and score the game's first run. Strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag KCDataStrongFan.
Oh yeah, hey look, John and Rhonda has stepped from Salina, Kansas. They're in Cleveland for 4 games. They want to say hi to their grandchildren back in Salina. My bad. Griffin, Sidney, and Campbell Peterson. Grandma and Grandpa are here and they're thinking about you.
Yan Gomes, Chris Johnson, Abraham Almonte in the bottom of the second inning. Gomes had a big hit last night. 2-run double in Cleveland's 3-run 7th inning, and that really hurt the Royals. The Royals had scored 2 in the top of the 7th to make it a 1-run game, and then Cleveland answered with 3 in the bottom of the 7th. Right to Escobar, who backs up, and a strike over to Hosmer for the first out. No wind at all. That rarely happens here. The flags just hanging limp up against the flag poles. And this time of year, if that wind is coming off of Lake Erie, it can be awfully cold, and you really can't expect to have weather like this here in the middle of September. You really can't expect to have weather like this in Kansas City in the middle of September, but upper 70s, low 80s for all 4 days here in Cleveland. This is Chris Johnson, who has done well since coming over from the Braves in a deal that really looked like involved players who needed a change of scenery. Johnson needed to get out of Atlanta, and Swisher and Bourne needed to get out of Cleveland.
I agree. And that's what trades are all about. Trying to make it good for both teams. I don't think there's a GM out there that really tries to get one up on his opponent, on his competitor, by trading damaged goods or anything like that. But so far it's worked.
So former teammates matching up here. Now to Moustakas. And 2 down. Coming up, Gloves for Kids. We hope you'll join us on Monday. We'll be at Kansas Sampler Oak Park in Lenexa. That'll be from 5:30 to 6:30. That'll feature select Royals players. A $25 donation toward the purchase of baseball equipment. You can take part in an autograph session. I can give you some of the names of Royals who have confirmed to be there on Monday. Abraham Almonte with 2 down. He takes a strike. Ned Yost is going to drop by. Tim Collins, Paulo Orlando, Danny Duffy, Terrence Gore, Chesler Cuthbert, Christian Colon, Tim Collins. Still waiting on a couple of other guys who are trying to clear some space on their schedule. So we hope to see you on Monday. Just what Chris Medlin needed right after the Royals get a run in the top of the second. He has a 1-2-3, 3 ground ball, bottom of the second. Top of the third, let's take a look at tonight's University of Kansas Hospital injury report. Lewis Coleman, after that pitch on Sunday night, was removed from the game with tightness in his right shoulder. So he's going to be held out for a few games to allow that to calm down. Another well hit ball to the outfield, and another good play by Lonnie Chisenhall. Well, you look at the score right now, 1-0 Royals. It could easily be 4 or 5-0 Royals. That is the 4th hard hit ball to the outfield in just 2 1/3 innings.
Those outfielders are telling themselves, we better be ready tonight. There's been a lot of action. Good concentration here. Drifted a little, but he's able to use the palm of his hand there. Got that ball in the palm. I saw some white. I thought it was a snow cone, but again use the infielder's feel for that glove, that ball.
let the ball fall from the palm into the webbing before he hit the fence. Otherwise, that ball might have popped out of his glove.
That's a good play.
0-2 on Alex, and he lost a hit on a good play by Chisenhall in the first inning. By my count, the Royals tonight have made 6 outs on hard hit balls, and they've only made 7 outs altogether. One ball, 2 strikes. So those hard hit outs and 3 hits so far for the Royals are Toyota League leaders. The Royals had their 65th 10-hit game last night. Only the Tigers have more in the major leagues. 2-2 on Alex. Alex last night, he had 4 of those 10 hits. Opened the game with a home run and then had 3 singles later in the game with another RBI.
It's a matter of time before they put up a crooked number.
Tomlin was not as lucky in his last start. He gave up 3 home runs. He's come close to giving up 3 home runs tonight. There's that cutter. That is his 2nd strikeout. And now 2 down in the 3rd inning.
Okay, now we're going to show you some of these long outs. Early, Zobrist, all of them good, short, compact swings, just no luck. Yeski thought he had some extra bases here.
Upstairs to Zobrist. Lined out to deep center field. Almonte ran it down in the 1st inning. Tomlin's going to live on the edge like that. That's just the way he pitches. He has allowed 10 home runs in fewer than 43 innings. So not all of those hard hit balls to the outfield stay in the ballpark. It's a small sample size as Tomlin is just appearing in his 7th game since coming off the disabled list, but he gives up almost 2.5 home runs per 9 innings. That's the 3rd most in the major leagues. Well hit. Backhanded by Kipnis. Zobrist is out, and the Royals are down 1-2-3 in the top of the 3rd. Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Dodge. Born Dodge. Beautiful sunset. Beautiful weather. Good start for Chris Medlin. 2 scoreless innings. He'll get Giovanni Urshela, Indians' number 9 hitter and rookie third baseman. And then the top of the order. Medlin so far has been the opposite of Tomlin. He's kept the ball down and needs to do that against Urshela, who actually hit a pretty good pitch last night against Volquez.
Sure did. Had some good lift. This kid's only going to get better as he continues to get reps, gets games in.
And he's the reason why Lonnie Chisenhall is playing right field.
A little bit better range. Coming in, makes the plays look good. Got a good arm. They like him.
Three and one. Tomlin's had all those outs in the outfield into the warning track. Medlin, 5 of his 6 outs have been on the ground.
He's been falling behind a lot of hitters.
On the ground, fair ball. Moustakas from foul territory shows the Indians third baseman how that position is played. And another ground ball out with the help of the defense for Medlin.
Man, anytime that ball's hit down the line, I love seeing Moose glove it, because you know he's going to plant his feet and throw a rocket across the diamond. That is a beautiful throwing stroke. See how right on top, he stays on top, his arm doesn't fall down to the side. If it does, the ball leaks up the line. That's beautiful. Haas says thank you for a good throw. Right on the money.
And now Kipnis has a ground ball out. Curveball got away from Medlin. Kipnis rolled out to Zobrist in the first inning. One and one. First time through the order, Medlin has allowed 1 hit and 1 walk. And another ground ball. Hosmer cuts in front of Zobrist. Medlin at the bag, close but out, and it helped that Medlin is a former infielder on that play.
Sure did. Eric Hosmer has gotten much better at leaving those balls alone and just going to first base, because that ball was hit so slowly that any second baseman's got a chance to get over there. But Haas was able to make a perfect throw. See how he led him. That's not an easy angle to throw, but Hosmer, he's really got a magical throwing stroke. He can throw from any angle. It's tougher play though when you got to throw it to that pitcher who's trying to cover.
Two down to Lindor, who has the only hit for the Indians tonight. That was a double in the first inning. Double the other way, and now Medlin pitches him inside, ball 1.
Ty Van Berkeley, their hitting coach, was telling me before the game they really like how his bat stays in the zone a long time. It's nice and level. You have a better chance of making some more solid contact if you got a nice level swing. Waits for his pitch. I believe that he really hasn't even tapped his potential yet.
Two and one with a little self-inflicted pain I remember another former number 12 for the Indians who was a pretty good infielder for a long time, Roberto Alomar. And like Alomar, Lindor is a switch hitter. There's his older brother Sandy, who was the Indians' first base coach.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Sandy in a managerial uniform somewhere in the future.
And 3-1, so you're right, Medlin has fallen behind several hitters tonight, but to his credit, he has made good pitches. Now, he was behind Lindor 3-1 in the first inning, and Lindor hit the double. And now a base hit into center field ahead in the count, 3-1. He had him off balance, but the pitch stayed up. And Lindor is at first with 2 down. The Royals have teamed up with the Baseball Tomorrow Fund to bring you Royals Equipment Day. That's next Wednesday, the 23rd. All fans are encouraged to donate gently used gloves, baseballs, hats, or helmets to benefit Alta Vista High School. Donations will be collected outside the Diamond Club from 6 to 8:30. Get your tickets now. That's the Royals and the Mariners at 1-800-6-ROYALS.
I know you didn't write that promo up, but gently used.
Yeah, like a glove that hasn't been left out in the rain for all summer.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's
been used, but it's not, it's not worn out where someone else can't use it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Curveball is high to Brantley. One hop to Hosmer. He'll go to the bag. 3 scoreless innings for Medlin, and 8 of his 9 outs have been on the ground. The Royals have had great swings against Tomlin so far tonight. Middle of the order coming up: Kane, Hosmer, and Morales. The Royals lead 1-0. Inning. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Tomlin throws a strike to Kane. Lorenzo flied to the warning track in right field in the first inning. Royals runs scored in the second. Salvador Perez drove in Mike Moustakas. Out to Almonte in center field. One down in the fourth. Tomlin only has 3 outs on the ground. Chris Medlin has 8 outs on the ground. So the hope is that the Royals are still going to be on Tomlin, and that Tomlin in the first 2 innings was struggling to get the ball down, and now he has hit his groove.
Well, he wants ground ball outs, obviously, but he's been up in the zone, and he's been fortunate to get by with some of those good defensive plays out there. He's not overpowering. When you're not overpowering and you're pitching belt high up in the zone, that's trouble.
He gets a ground ball, and Kipnis throws out Hosmer. Hosmer's 1 for 2. Tomlin has gotten 11 outs, and 4 of them have been on the warning track. Kendrys Morales hit the ball hard first time up and grounded into a double play. Over the inside, strike 1. Back with a fastball, 0-2. Did he go? He did. Morales strikes out. Tomlin has his 3rd, and he has set down the last 7 Royals.
As his team has slumped, saying we have been through this earlier in the year, and they did come out of it. Some differences that back in that slump late May that began at Yankee Stadium into early June, they had no offense whatsoever, and they were pitching a little better, although the rotation was struggling. The bullpen was okay. More recently, they have had some big games. Remember those 2 games against Detroit and the game the other night in Baltimore. They've had 5 or 6 games with 5 or more runs during the stretch. They only had 1 during that earlier stretch season. Pitching has been the issue. Talking to Dave Island today, guys, I said, what's your message to the pitchers? And he met with the pitchers today. And he said it's not one little thing that he wants to do. It's not just a matter of, oh, pitch inside or this and that. It's go out there and start having fun. Go back to pitching 101. Stop feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Stop putting so much pressure on yourselves and just go out there and pitch.
I like it. Sometimes it can be just that simple. Guys put a little pressure on themselves. But you know, Ryan and I were talking last night about, you know, should Ned have a meeting or, you know, things like that. And I talked to Ned about that earlier. I said, Ned, what do you think is a good time to you? I know you're not real big on meetings. And he goes, you know, the only time you have meetings is when you lost your focus or your energy. He said, that's not the case here. He said, they all know what's at stake. Let it run its course. Don't get caught up in the riptide.
And if he shows signs of panic or concern, the players will see that. It is a team that we have known for quite some time now, very close-knit. They embrace the team concept. And so it would only be natural if, you know, some guys take the mound or a guy comes to the plate and says, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to place this burden on my shoulders, and I'm going to get us out of this losing streak. Sometimes that works, but most of the time, when one player tries to do it all, the exact opposite happens.
And that's Johnny Cueto's situation right now. It's all there, but last night in the pregame show, Monty was watching Johnny Cueto before the game, and on flat ground, Monty noticed that he was really working on keeping his arm angled up and throwing downhill and getting that good plane going again. And just a simple observation like that from our expert Monty down there, that tells me that he understands what he's got to do, but he just needs to go out and let it happen and perform, get some early runs, you know, get some confidence going, and then he can settle in.
Cueto will pitch on Friday when the Royals begin a series in Detroit. Chris Medlin has fallen behind several hitters tonight, but when he's needed to make a pitch, he has. And of his 9 outs, 8 have been on the ground. Why not after the Indians hit 2 home runs and scored 8 runs on 12 hits. That pitch was up, and Zobrist makes the play in right field and gets Santana.
Nice. That is Zobrist's play of the year.
I guess that's an out on the ground.
It is on the ground, and it's in the outfield, but Zobrist, that ball was spanked. It was hit hard. And Zobrist, you see where he's playing, he had to take 3-4 steps, took the bat hop even, it hopped up on him, and used that good overhand throw. He likes to stay on top of the ball when he throws, and that really comes in handy when you can get a lot on it. You needed to there. Great play. Haas not used to making plays from right field, but he got one there.
And now 0-1 on Chisenhall. Should get an outfield assist for that.
Man, that was a beauty.
Chisenhall grounded back to Medlin in the first inning. Crack bat. Hosmer will take it himself, and another ground ball out for Medlin. So of his 11 outs, 10 have been on the ground.
And his last outing against the Twins, his curveball and changeup were really good. He had some good command down in the zone, and he's doing the same thing now. But you know, you can't get into a pattern of falling behind these hitters. I mentioned earlier that the Tribe has hit 18 home runs off our pitching this year. He got power.
Down and into Yan Gomes. He was on a ground ball to short in the second inning.
If you're going to miss, that's where you miss.
2-0. Ground ball. Escobar to his feet. Throws. Hosmer pulls it out of the dirt. So Medlin has 11 ground ball outs and 2 outstanding defensive plays in a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning.
Love to see those Royals flashing that leather.
Inning, non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule, and that sure described the Royals last year in the postseason. Non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, and historic performances with the Royals going 8-0 to begin the postseason. Mike Moustakas in the 2nd inning with 2 outs and nobody on swung at a 3-0 pitch and he popped it up. He thought he was out. He was walking back to the dugout. Yan Gomes could not find it. Urshela will throw him out. So the ball dropped foul. Moustakas lived to see another pitch. He doubled and then scored the Royals run on a base hit from Salvador Perez. And here is Sal, and for good reason. He is listed among the DraftKings players to watch. He was 7 for 9 with a home run against Josh Tomlin, and now he's 1 for 1 with an RBI. Go to DraftKings.com, enter the promo code BEADROYAL to play daily fantasy baseball for free. And getting a little extra rest lately, and has really paid off for him at the plate. He has driven in 5 runs on this trip.
He's looking for that 20th home run.
Another ground ball to Urshela. High throw, but Johnson makes the play. 2 down. Royals were knocking Josh Tomlin's pitches all over the ballpark in the first 2 innings, first 2 and a third innings actually, and several outs were made on the warning track. And all of a sudden now Tomlin has set down 9 in a row, and he'll get Rios with 2 outs. Rios struck out looking in the 2nd inning. Cutter is inside, ball 1. Hit well to left field. Down the line, into the corner, and Alex Rios has his second home run of the trip. Josh Tomlin gives up his 11th home run of the year in just 45 innings. And Alex Rios gives the Royals a 2-0 lead.
Yan Gomes put the fastball down and away, and it was a mistake. And speaking of mistakes, that man right there that's sitting up there controlling the fireworks, he just made one, and he's getting booed. He's putting his dunce cap on now. Yeah. Normally, when a Cleveland Indian hits a home run, they shoot the fireworks off, and this guy, the fans are letting him have it. Ooh, it's okay, sir. We all make them.
Poor guy.
You know, hey, you know, he was looking forward to the display, and Rios, he must be a Rios fan.
Well, he was probably assuming that with the Royals hitting the ball hard to the outfield that someone was going to make a great play. So maybe that cannon blast or the fireworks was celebrating an Indians out. That's it. He's resigning. He's not going to wait for the pink slip. He's out of here. Going to pack up his stuff.
He's going to reload.
It was a heck of a run, sir. Great career. Wish you'd stick around and finish on a high note, but
he's going to take a walk. Now he's getting texts from all of his buddies saying, were you a little bit trigger happy?
He is positioned on the top of a parking garage in straightaway center field, so he's not actually in the ballpark.
Oh, well, he couldn't tell unless he had his binoculars.
The loneliest place in the world right now is on the top of the center field parking garage at Progressive Field.
It's him and his phone.
Still 2-2 on Escobar.
Jumped all over that mistake. Ninth home run Tomlin's given up to a right-handed bat. Been feeding Escobar a lot of curveballs.
Esky not happy he didn't do more with that pitch. It's all right. That reaction I'm talking about.
He's a little frustrated. Now that reaction there, it's hard to tell, but we saw his body language when he took his cap off and put the dunce cap on.
And he walked about 20 yards away from the detonators. Now Escobar takes a fastball for a strike. Proving once again you can't beat fun at the old ballpark, even if you set off the fireworks prematurely.
That's right. But Rios put a drive into it. 2-0. Rats.
Heck of a home run for Alex Rios. They even set off the fireworks for him here on the road. If you'd like to see that here in Cleveland, you can get tickets through StubHub, and the app is personalized just for you. Now with the StubHub app, you can select your teams and artists, discover new favorites, and grab tickets wherever you want. So get to the App Store today and get the StubHub app.
Pretty lonely seat up there.
Yep. I don't know if you can get plane tickets on the StubHub app, but if you can, and that's what that fellow might be doing if you weren't with us last half inning. Alex Rios hit a home run, and that poor fella set off the fireworks, which is reserved for Indians home runs. And a gathering of right around 10,000 really let him have it. Now, Hud, I know that's a long way away, but there's a base hit into center field for Chris Johnson. Another ground ball for Medlin. This one gets through. You know, you've had a knack at recognizing when a youngster has his heart broken. Maybe he's hoping for a foul ball, and maybe it's his mom making the kid give it to his friend, or an adult jumps in front of a kid and doesn't get a foul ball. And that guy could probably use a hug, don't you think? Or a baseball, or...
You know what? He would see me coming. If you're insinuating me going up there and getting him a hug, I'd be happy to, but he'd look at me and go, uh-oh, who's coming to... Is somebody coming to relieve me? He wouldn't know me from anyone. But he could use a hug.
Yeah.
If they let me go, I'll go up there. I'll take him a TV monitor too while he's up there, so he can see what's going on.
Oh. Good changeup to Almonte. No balls and 2 strikes. Almonte grounded out to Zobrist first time up.
Changeup, it's a beauty. Looks like a good pitch out over the middle and fades away.
Still 0-2. Medlin has only allowed 3 hits. 2 have been ground ball base hits. And of the 12 outs he's recorded tonight, 11 have been on the ground. And it's not like he's been perfect. He has fallen behind several times, but even behind in the count, he's making good pitches. That one's very high to Almonte. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Only 1 out in the air, and that was an infield pop-up from Brantley to Hosmer in the first inning.
Well, if he's going to stay on that path, might as well get a ground ball double play. He's induced 4 this year.
Hello, man.
Had him reaching. Zobrist calls for it. He'll bring it down for the first out. Zobrist made an outstanding play for Medlin in the 4th inning. A diving stop way out in right field with the overshift. And then 2 batters later, Alcides Escobar made an outstanding play on Yan Gomes. So throwing strikes, keeping the defense involved. We showed you no strikeouts. He also has only walked 1, so forcing the Indians to put the ball in play, and the Royals defense has responded.
Right after that pop-up, when Medlin got the ball back, he was looking at a middle infielder. Zobrist got his attention and said, me and you are working on the double play. It's important. Got to know who you're working with. So when a comebacker to Medlin, he knows exactly who he's throwing to. Okay, here it is right here. There's all kinds of eye contact. Yeah, me and you.
Just outside, 2-0.
It's amazing in the infield how much is going on. You got to really think. You got to know what's going on before pitches even happen. What's going to happen to the next hitter? Where are we? How many outs are there? Who am I working with? So your eyes are always open. You're looking at the shortstop, Escobar. You're looking at Hosmer. You're always looking. Now, when you go to the outfield like Zobrist does, that's like a huge vacation. It's a break. You're not having to worry about all those things there. You just want to make sure you see the ball real well and listen for the sound and get a good break on the fly ball. But it's a big difference playing outfield and infield.
Center field, deep but playable, and Kane brings it down. 2 outs. Saturday will be in Detroit.
Yeah, I understand that. Hopefully the weather's as nice as it is here.
Supposed to tell you about something that's going to happen on Saturday, but it's been postponed. We'll tell you later in the game.
I know the fans.
But let me tell you,
they're on the edge of their seats.
You want to make sure that you hang in for that. That was what we call in the television business a tease. You know, we tease something that's coming later on in the broadcast. Kipnis has grounded out twice, both to the right side. To Lorenzo Cain, who hardly has to move. So after all those ground balls, Medlin gives up a single and then 3 consecutive outs in the air. Altogether, it's 5 scoreless innings, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Nice.
Come up in the top of the 6th inning. The most popular way to follow the Royals push to the postseason is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat brings you baseball wherever you are with live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, stats, live radio broadcasts, fireworks for the visiting team, and the MLB.TV game of the day. Just download MLB.com At Bat for your phone or tablet. Curveball in for a strike to Alex, who was flied out to the warning track against Tomlin in right field, and Tomlin has struck him out. Tomlin has struck out 4.
Check out Tomlin when he's digging in there for that ball, looking for the sign. That right hand is just twitching. I don't know if he's trying to keep the hitter off of that glove in his hand, but he's really working that grip.
Out of play. Well, if he does that before every single pitch, then he's not tipping anything, right?
Right.
He's got to make sure he does it no matter what he throws.
Yeah, believe me, if he doesn't twitch one time and throws a certain pitch, the hitters all know that.
Two and two. Royals runs in the second inning. Salvador Perez with 2 outs drove in Mike Moustakas, and in the 5th inning with 2 outs Alex Rios homered. So the Royals back to their productive 2-out ways. Tomlin has struck out Gordon twice, and that gives Tomlin 5 tonight.
You know, his cutter is right around 84 miles an hour. His changeup's around 83, 84 as well. So he's got pitches that are moving left and right. So he's really doing what he likes to do, and that's nibble the corners. His curveball there. That's his best pitch.
Pulled foul by Zobrist. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Jason Robinson from Blue Springs, and if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Jason wins $400. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jason wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Zobrist nearly hit a home run in the first inning. He lined to the warning track in center field. He is 0 for 2 against Tomlin tonight. Johnson to the hole. Connects with Tomlin. 2 down. So Tomlin has really made an adjustment since Escobar's line out to deep right in the 3rd inning. Royals were all over Tomlin in the first 2 and a third innings. Several outs on the warning track, and now we sit down 12 of the last 13. The only exception was the home run by Rios. And Kane gets hit on the leg.
12th time this year. Ties Moustakas, but Alex Gordon still's been plunked the most at 13.
And let's see if the Royals can do it again with 2 outs. Got their run in the 2nd inning with 2 outs. They got their run in the 5th inning with 2 outs. The Royals have a reputation with some teams for causing problems, and Buck Showalter tried to throw some gas on that fire when the Royals were in Baltimore over the weekend. But while the Royals have hit 48 batters this year, they have been hit 70 times. So perhaps at times a hit batter from a Royals pitcher has been badly timed, but if you look at the overall numbers, the Royals are getting plunked more than they are plunking. Hosmer pops out to Lindor, and that's it for KC in the top of the 6th inning. 2-0 lead. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KC Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Thank you to Kim with a picture from inside the Diamond Club, it looks like. All of it brought to you by T-Mobile. That is an Indians fan. He looks a little bit like Drew Carey, who fancies himself as a big Cleveland Indians fan. Chris Medlin has only allowed 3 hits in his 5 innings, and 2 have come off the bat of the man standing at the plate here, Francisco Lindor, who has doubled and singled, and now he hits it out toward right center field. Rios is on it, 1 away.
Medlin, man, you gotta love what this guy brings. You know, coming to the ballpark, players are and media alike are saying, good, Medlin's out there. You know what he's got is, you know, he's going to throw strikes. You know, he works quickly. They got to give this team a chance to win. It's all Dave Island is hoping for, and believe me, Dayton Moore knew all about Medlin as a winner in his Braves days, and you know, I don't think there was any other offers that were out there for Medlin at the time. And he said, look, we believe in this guy. Once he gets well from his second Tommy John, we believe that this guy can make a difference for our team. And sure enough, here it is late. It's exactly what they forecasted.
And I think the Royals would tell you that even though they assumed that he'd be a contributor, that he has exceeded expectations to this point. I mean, he's still a wild card coming off a second Tommy John surgery, but he has been a winner. 37-21. That's as a starter and a reliever. But if you break him down just as a starter, he is 32-14, and that's the best winning percentage among all active pitchers with at least 50 starts. And his ERA as a starter, only Clayton Kershaw, Matt Harvey, and Zach Greinke have a better career ERA with at least 50 starts than Chris Medlin. So if that arm stays together, he certainly has the track record.
Some big names.
All of a sudden he's getting a lot of outs in the air. Lorenzo Cain sprints in from center field. Last 5 outs have been in the air after 11 of the first 12 were on the ground. 2 down in the 6th inning.
Well, he's doing it with that fastball up in the zone now. That's why he's getting the pop-ups. But earlier he was working his changeup and curveball, fastball. All of them were down in the zone, and now he's trying a different quadrant of the strike zone, and that's working for him so far. Sneaky quick. That swing by Bradley right there was not a comfortable swing. Didn't look like he was ready to swing at it. So he's sneaky coming out of that delivery. At 90 looks more like 95, 96.
That's the one pitch tonight that he hasn't had the best command of, his breaking ball. And you mentioned against Minnesota on Wednesday, he had all of his pitches working. His curveball hasn't hurt him tonight. He hasn't quite been able to put it where he wants it. Second time that Santana's hit it right on the nose and out as Hosmer makes a nice play. And now 6 scoreless innings for Chris Medlin.
Keep it rolling and use that Gold Glove. Let it go.
Baseball is brought to you by AT&T UVerse high-speed internet. The UVerse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Kendrys Morales leads off the top of the 7th, and so does Joel.
Well, we know, guys, about Kendrys Morales' hitting abilities, and Hud's always talking about his athleticism at first base. But how about Kendrys Morales, the right fielder? He'd been shagging balls in Baltimore, and Ned Yost said to Rusty, the outfield coach, "Have you looked at him at all?" He said, "No." And he said, "Check him out." And Rusty checked him out, and he was surprised. He said, "You know what? He's really good out there. He's making all of the plays." And both of you, from your outfield careers, as we see Kendrys running hard to first base and getting thrown out, know that it can be tough to judge those fly balls. Remember when Eric Hosmer played a little bit of interleague in right field, and in and out, a little bit of that depth perception was an issue, and Rusty said that Kendrys was judging everything perfectly, and his footwork was really good, and his arm was really strong. He said, "Wait a minute," Rusty said, "something's up here," and that's when he found out that way back when Kendrys was signed as a center fielder before he ever ended up moving on to be an infielder. He's played a little bit of outfield, but it's been a while. And so this is something we might see. It might be a possibility for that one game at Wrigley Field. And talking to Rusty about it, if we end up seeing the Royals in the World Series, he was talking about the potential stadiums with small outfields. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, the Cubs, the Mets. Dodger Stadium might be a little bit different, and of course we're getting ahead of ourselves, but certainly something interesting to think about.
Well, I brought it up to Ned in our radio interview, and I knew he wouldn't go there, but I had to ask. It was a National League game, and Kendrys was out of the lineup. As Hosmer was at first, there was no designated hitter. And, of course, Ned hates hypotheticals. Can't blame him for that, but I presented him with them. Okay, let's say the Royals are down 3 games or 2 games to nothing, whatever, and we're in the National League Park in the World Series. Could you afford to not have Kendrys Morales in the starting lineup? I mean, it's a heck of a luxury to come off the bench, but I mean, that's a guy you want to have 3 or 4 at bats in a game.
Well, he's a baseball player. He can play anywhere. He works hard. In between during batting practice, in between his hittings, he goes out there with a small infielder's glove and plays first base, and he'll take ground balls at the other positions at shortstop and third base. And then going in the outfield, I'm not surprised at all, because he's a guy who works. He works, he prepares, he studies. Dale Swain talks about how he studies the opposing pitchers every single night. This guy could make a huge difference, especially in that one game, Cubs game coming up.
And we'll see if it actually happens or not. It's speculation, but it was enough that Ned pointed it out to Rusty, and Rusty, who's a guru here, was impressed. And, you know, Hud, you talk about the work ethic, and all these guys have great work ethics. So Kendrys is like Hosmer, like so many of these guys, but yet he was able to go out there and make it look easier than what was expected. So it's very intriguing, and Rusty pointed this out to me too. Maybe you do have him in a World Series game if they make it that far. You're looking for maybe 6 innings and get his bat 2 or 3 times, and then you go to the defensive replacement, which we've seen so many times before, instead of that one at bat that you were talking about, Ryan.
One of the fun things to think about.
Way to go, Joe.
2 down to Salvador Perez. He has driven in one of the 2 runs. Johnson, Gomes, and Tomlin all over the Royals dugout, and they all run out of room. With 2 outs in the 2nd inning, Moustakas doubled, and Sal got him home with a single on an 0-2 pitch. And even with his ground out tonight, Sal is 8 out of 11 against Tomlin, and one of those hits is a home run. Lays off a high fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. The other run came in the 5th inning with 2 outs. Alex Rios homered up the left field line. 1-2.
Salvi wants that one back. That was the hanger he's been looking for. Just pulled off of it.
While blowing a bubble. That takes being able to walk and chew gum at the same time to the extreme. Back with a curveball that was down and out of the strike zone. Tomlin's pitched well. He has struck out 6. He's given up just 2 runs, but not as well as Chris Medlin has pitched.
To the hill. Panera takes us around the league. A lot of important games. New York hanging on to a lead right now. Toronto is trailing. They're back now at it 2-2. Encarnacion still day-to-day with a finger injury. Houston was down 4-0. Now they trail 4-3. And Detroit leading Minnesota. Our Mazda game break takes us to Minnesota. Phil Hughes returns from the DL. He's gone 2 innings, given up 3 runs and 5 hits, including this shot from Victor Martinez. Every game right now absolutely crucial for the Minnesota Twins. So the playoff race extremely exciting. Coming up after the game on Boulevard Royals Live, hoping to talk about a win and a Chris Medlin pitching performance so far. He's been very good. We'll ask Jeff Montgomery why. We'll hear from Ned Yost. Reaction, and who knows, maybe they'll set off some fireworks for us.
Done it once already. And Medlin, with 6 scoreless innings, has done that without a strikeout. Glad to see a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's talking to his boss. He said, "We saw you up there, man. It's okay. You know, we need to get you a monitor so you can follow the game a little closer. So you're okay, sir."
Got his feet kicked up. It's almost like a scene out of a spy movie. He's got that briefcase that's open there. You know, the guy who's the bank robber that blows open the vault. You know, they put the wires in the vault. The guy opens the briefcase and detonates the explosives.
Yeah, but you know, you could tell just the failure aspect of it, and he's way up there. Nobody in the ballpark can see him but us, and it's as though he thought everybody was watching him.
And if you're wondering what we're talking about, Alex Rios homered in the 5th inning. A visiting player here in Cleveland, and that fella set off the fireworks. Moustakas dives, and man, what a play. Mike Moustakas going all out on the grass and sliding onto that rubber track to get Lonnie Chisenhall for the first out. How badly do the Royals want to win tonight?
Oh, he's hungry. That ball just stayed up in the air, and he says, "I'm going to get it." Got a little grass stain and a little bit of dirt. Oh, that's nice. That's 3 excellent plays by the Royals defense tonight. Beautiful. Whenever you can get the combination dirt and grass on the one play, that's special.
Now Yan Gomes, who was victimized by Alcides Escobar in the 4th inning. Alcides made one of the defensive plays of the game, taking a base hit away from Gomes. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to Escobar twice.
Well, you make a play like that that you're really not expected to make. That pumps the pitcher up. Also saves his pitch count. By the way, 87 pitches in 7 innings. That's great.
Over his head with a breaking ball. Only the 1st inning did Medlin go over 20 pitches. 2 innings where he's gone fewer than 10 pitches. Look out.
It's heavy down that line over there. He's going to get somebody. A lot of bodies. Yep. All right. Thumbs up. Although tell that to the camera crew who just took it off the toe. Ouch.
It hit something. You could hear that all the way up here. Gomes goes the other way, and he's on with 1 out. So here's what we were talking about. Alex Rios home run back in the 5th inning, or ram drive of the game. And it only gets better. Down goes the book. Both hands covering the eyes.
Time for the dunce cap.
Yep.
Can't hide, sir. It's tough when you make an error in the major leagues.
And when you wear a shirt like that, it's hard to hide. You might want to wear more of an earth toned or maybe a light gray shirt in the future so that he blends in with that stone stairwell alongside the parking garage.
Yeah, now as far back as he is, he can't see the people in the ballpark. He's way outside in the parking garage across the street, but he could hear the boos, and he knew he messed up.
On Chris Johnson. The Indians have 4 hits against Medlin in 6 1/3 innings. 1-1 on Johnson.
Medlin's just done a magnificent job of keeping the Tribe off balance. Only thing he's missing is a little ground ball double play. Get out of the inning.
Two and 1. Base hit left field. It's just the 2nd time tonight the Indians have had more than 1 runner on base.
And I think Ned's going to have him call it a night.
Two on, 1 out. Ryan Madsen will come into the game. So 94 pitches, 6 1/3 from Chris Medlin. And a Chevy call to the bullpen as Madsen comes on with 2 on and 1 out. a good night tonight. Just 5 hits in 6 1/3. Saturday. Remember we were talking about Saturday? Saturday, MLB on Fox returns as the Cardinals take on the Cubs. And then it's the Royals and the Tigers. That'll be on Fox Sports 1. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. on Fox and 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. See, I told you.
Yeah, I was waiting for that Saturday news there. Now, so basically you're telling me that I got a day off.
Yes.
Darn it.
6 1/3 innings, 94 pitches for Medlin, and had allowed back-to-back hits when Ned Yost went to get Ryan Madson. Madson comes on with 2 on, 1 out, and faces Abraham Almonte, who was 0 for 2 against Medlin.
Almonte, in between pitches, was over the, or in between to the change there, was over there looking at the notes on the Ty Van Berkeley, the hitting coach, had on. As Michael Martinez into pinch run. Almonte figured out he's got a good fastball, low to mid-90s, maybe some upper 90s at times, and has that great changeup he just threw there. And he likes to cut his fastball.
To get to the big league level, you have to hit a fastball. But young hitters don't normally see changeups like Matson's in the minor leagues. There's a really good one right there, and you have 2 young hitters coming up. One's at the plate in Almonte, followed by Urshela, who's on deck.
That's back-to-back changeups. That just fell out of the sky. That was over the middle of the plate.
And then late on a fastball. Does Alex have enough room? No. Ooh. Watch your lips.
Is that a dome shot? Yeah. Uncle Fester took one off the dome. Check it out. Oh my.
Man.
You got to get those hands up, sir. Incoming.
I mean, he says he's all right, but what do you mean I'm fine? All he did was take a ball off the head.
And
yeah.
now he's going to get a yellow card.
Right. That's right.
Dude, this game's not fair.
Right.
What the heck's that guy doing?
Good changeup. Madson strikes out Almonte, 2 down. Well, it is very male-like to not read the instructions before you try something, and that applies to your hands when you come to a big league game and sit in the crowd.
Okay, now the yellow card, I'm sure, was not a warning, but I noticed last night in last night's game when that young lady took one off her shoulder, they held up a red card. So obviously they have a way to communicate with the people upstairs on the health of the fans. I've never seen that done. Have you seen it?
Well, it's one thing to get, your hands up and you just miss it. I mean, it's hard to catch a baseball with your bare hands when it's coming that far out of the sky. But man, I hope he says he's fine. We hope so. But good for the medical staff. I mean, there have been many people who have been hit like that and they feel fine at first, but that ball came way out of the sky. He's all smiles, but just didn't quite get the hands up in time. Where are you? He says, I'm in Kansas City, because when Rios even Alex, they're asking him where he is, and he said Kansas City because Rios hit a home run and they set the fireworks off. Now they have to tell him what happened to him.
Well,
the baseball came out of the sky and hit you on the head.
Well, where's the ice bag? They're going to talk him into getting a little ice on it.
Madsen comes on with 2 on, 1 out. He gets 1 strikeout with a changeup and gets another strikeout with a fastball.
Way to pick up your teammate. Good job.
Over at first base. Chris Johnson started at first. He singled in the bottom of the 7th inning and then was lifted for a pinch runner. And Josh Tomlin will begin the top of the 8th inning. The Royals were hitting him all over downtown Cleveland in the first inning. And 4 of his first 7 outs were made on the warning track. Royals were all over him, just couldn't quite get enough to get it over the outfield. And then Alex Rios with 2 down in the 5th homered just inside the left field foul pole. So Tomlin, all things considered, has pitched a good game considering how it started out for him. And the Royals have just 2 runners since the 2nd inning. Actually only 1 runner, because for Rios it was a home run. He was never on base. One ball, 1 strike. Our fireworks guy has decided the best way to prevent setting off the fireworks when the visiting team is up is just to abandon his post.
Yeah, that's a good idea. He won't get confused.
Rios grounds it out to Urshela, and there is 1 away.
Stepping to the plate for Kansas City, the shortstop, Escobar.
And now Tomlin will get Alcides Escobar, who made one of those long outs. He led off the 3rd inning, lining to deep right field, and Lonnie Chisenhall, the converted 3rd baseman, made a fine play running into the right field wall. Esky trying to go the other way again and hits it into the crowd. To left field, down around the end of the bat, and easy for Brantley. 2 down.
The hitter for the Royals, the left fielder, Alex Gordon.
98 pitches for Tomlin, and they're ready in the bullpen. Austin Adams is the right-hander, And Giovanni Soto is the lefty.
Francona got to be pleased with what Tomlin's given him tonight. That's for sure. Nice job. Fastball, cutter, curve, and change. All four of them. Change up.
And he's given Alex a bad time. Alex is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. He did fly to the warning track to begin the game in right field.
Yeah, you know, and talking with Francona before the game about Tomlin, he loves it. He said the only thing I wish the kid had was more velocity. If he had 92 even, just 90 to 92, this kid would be an excellent pitcher with the way he hits his spots.
Grounded to Sands. He'll go to the bag, and Tomlin goes 8 innings, giving up just 2 runs. Cleveland is scoreless so far through 7, and now they have to deal with Wade Davis in the bottom of the 8th.
The boys look hungry tonight. Look at him. Zobrist got all kinds of grass stains on him. Escobar too. Shallow right, nice play. Getting the tip of the cap, and Moose says, all right, it's my turn. All out dive. Made the out for Medlin, saved his pitch count, and busted his belt while he did it. Nice job, Moose. Way to give it up. You see that little cut in his uniform jersey top there. That got caught up in the belt, and the belt buckle fell off, and Moose had to go in and get a new belt.
Paulo Orlando takes over in right field for Alex Rios. And Wade Davis is a Chevy call to the bullpen with the Royals leading 2-0. Davis will get the top of the Indians order. Kipnis, Lindor, and Brantley.
Magnificent job by Madsen. That was wonderful to pick up Medlin like that. 2 big strikeouts. Now it's on to Davis, and hopefully he can be sharp as he normally is. 90 to 97. Cut fastball at low 90s. Overhand curve. Strike 1.
Outside, 1-1 to Kipnis. He is 0 for 3 so far tonight. All of those at bats were against Medlin. Hit well to center field. Kane is there. He's got it. A lot of outs deep in the outfield tonight. Kipnis is down.
Locane made that look easy. And it's not. Believe me, that's the hardest play for a center fielder. Ball hit on the line right over your head. You knew it was squared up. Took a nice straight path back on the ball. Cradled it nicely.
Francisco Lindor doubled in the first inning and singled in the third. Jumps on a high fastball. Alex at the line and over the railing. So add that to the list of good defensive plays tonight. 2 down in the 8th inning.
Yeah. Now, if that ball stays in, you know he's going to get a glove on it. But does he get to challenge the stands? Ouch! Right on the ribs. Oh, fantastic play by Gordon. Oh, yeah. That's good focus by the Platinum Glove winner. Ouch.
Well, easy for me to say, but looks like it was just around the armpit where there's a little bit of muscle there, as opposed, if that was a little lower, that might have been just straight to the ribs. So hopefully that gave him a little extra cushion. Oh, 0-1 on Michael Brantley. He is 0 for 3. He's done well against Wade Davis, although when the hitter has had that many at-bats against Wade Davis, you wonder how many of those at-bats were against Davis as a starter and how many since he has become a full-time reliever. Two and one. Same pitch. We got the first strike against Brantley. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That cutter's beautiful. That's a good spot there. In enough. Most lefties like that ball down and in, but that ball was in where Brantley couldn't get it.
Three and 2. Carlos Santana is on deck.
I'd like to see Santana leading off that next inning. Brantley, Royals have pitched him tough. Medlin did a good job with him. 0 for 3. He's a 320 hitter. Not easy to get out. Challenge him away here.
Still 3 and 2. As a starter, here's the point I was making about Brantley. As a starter, Wade Davis's ERA in his career is 4.57. As a reliever, his ERA is 1.45.
Most of the damage come when he was pitching starting.
Giving Brantley a tough time with that hard cutter in on his hands. Opponent's batting average against Wade Davis as a starter, 275. As a reliever, 161.
He's found his niche.
And Brantley will walk, and that brings the potential tying run to the plate. It is only the second walk allowed by a Royals pitcher tonight. Santana, and you know what's on his mind with a runner at first, 2 down. 10 at bats, 2 hits against Davis. Both hits have been singles. Inside again, 2-0.
Got to be careful. Keep it away from him.
Went with a breaking ball, 2-1. I mean, that's almost unfair.
Yeah, 2-0 hook like that. That's nice.
That's not. I mean, I guess in Davis's world, that's a get-me-over curveball, but for the average pitcher, that is more than a get-me-over curveball.
Most 8th inning guys are going to go with their fastball there.
Back with a breaking ball, 2-2.
Good idea. He fouled that ball off on the top. That's what you want. You don't want him up underneath that.
Strike 3 with a fastball at 97. So he thought he was getting a fastball. Wade Davis went to the curveball, and then when he thought he was going to get a curveball, Wade Davis went back with the heater.
Santana, you got to go. And waiter, give me the check, please.
$2-0 lead, and a Mazda game break takes us to Arlington in that big series between the Rangers and the Astros. This is Elvis Andrus driving in Adrian Beltre. So 4-3, Texas leads, and Texas suddenly is a half game back of Houston in the West. So if they hang on, the Rangers will be in first place. seen that long ago. It looked like the Astros were just going to run away with the division. The Angels gave a bit of a scare right around the All-Star break, and then they faded away. And here are the Texas Rangers, who had an awful year last year because of all those injuries, and they have bounced back quite well under first-year manager Jeff Bannister. And last night, Prince Fielder had a big home run late. The Rangers took game 1 of that series.
Yeah, there are a couple of their lefties. Cole Hamels, they got in the trade, and Derek Holland are coming on strong for him. They got good pitching.
Josh Tomlin comes back out for the 9th inning. 106 pitches, and he's 2-2 on Zobrist. Zobrist, Kane, Hosmer, with the bullpen ready to go if Tomlin gets into trouble. Grounded to Sands, who came on defensively last inning. 1 down.
Tomlin's been able to handle Gordon and Zobrist no problem. Struck out Alex a couple times and held those 2 hot Royals hitters at the top of the lineup with no hits.
In fact, the top 5 hitters are just 1 for 15 against Tomlin tonight. Lindor, nice play, low throw. Sands with a tricky hop is able to handle it. 2 down.
Lindor, I like that adjustment he made as that ball was coming to him. He went to the ball. He didn't wait back for it. That long hop or that short hop. Watch him. When he gets to it, he goes right at it. Throws off his right foot. Sands handles a tricky hop. That's a good play.
Two down to Hosmer. Boy, is he due or what? 1 for 3 with a 2nd inning single. Off of Tomlin and right to Kipnis.
Tomlin's going good.
It's a good way to end the night. 1-4-3 to end the inning. So Tomlin goes 9. Greg Holland coming on for the bottom of the 9th. It'll be Chisenhall, Gomes, and Sands with the Royals leading 2-0. Is being blocked by Omar Infante. 2-0 Royals, bottom of the 9th inning. Chris Medlin with the sprint cuts of the game, and there were very few good ones against Medlin tonight in his 6 1/3 innings.
Yeah, that play in the first inning showed how calm and cool under pressure, and look at the defense responded for him. Zobrist, his best play so far in a Royals uniform. Escobar, we see that nightly. Hosmer, routine procedure. And then Moose says, you know what? I can make that play. It held up long enough, and Medlin. Nice job. Way to step up that rotation.
Gerard Dyson comes into the game for Lorenzo Cain in center field. Cain grounded out to short for the second out of the ninth inning. So that will be addressed, I'm sure, as Ned visits with the media when this game is over. Greg Holland going for his 31st save. Chisenhall, Gomes, and Sands coming up. Now Holland has not pitched since Wednesday, and he is at his best when he is pitching regularly. So he's had a long layoff, and he wasn't throwing a lot of strikes when he was warming up.
15 games in September. This is just the third time he's pitched.
A walk, and that fastball was at 89.
Used to seeing low to mid 90s from Holland with a nice crisp slider.
Yan Gomes 2 for 7 against Holland. He is 1 for 3 tonight. Fastball at 90. 0-1 on Gomes.
Obviously, timing, is going to be an issue for Holland. And if they're going to continue to use him as they go on down through September and October, they're going to have to get him out there with some more regular use.
Line pass Escobar. 2 on, nobody out. It's been a flawless game defensively for the Royals to this point. It's going to be a base hit, but pass Escobar. I'm sure Esky would tell you that he would expect to make that play.
Yeah, executed a good pitch down in the zone, 89. And Escobar looks like he just misjudged it. That ball was hit hard, and sometimes that play can be very difficult, and they're going to come out and check on Holland.
Well, we mentioned the 89-mile-an-hour fastball to Chisenhall on ball 4. The pitch before that was at 87. And that is 10 miles an hour less than what he is capable of throwing. And we know his velocity has been down, and he hasn't pitched as much as he has in the past. So I don't know if they saw something wrong or just maybe looking at the radar gun, and Kyle Turner and Ned Yost going out to make sure that Holland was okay. Now Mike Aviles is going to bat for Sands. Royals are ready for a bunt, and Aviles takes outside.
Yep, he wants to move those runners. He's 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. He's in there to do exactly that.
Bunts it in the air. Holland dropped it. And the Royals, they can get 2 outs here.
Nobody at second.
Nobody at second base. Because of the wheel play, nobody was at second base. And it wasn't hit high enough, bunted high enough to call the infield fly rule. And the Royals almost had a chance at an easy 2.
Oh, man, I was just thinking high fastball, pop it up, and he got exactly that. Now, Gerard Dyson, he did a good job. He got in there, but just not in time as Holland misjudged it. They'll take the out there, but see, Escobar's at third, Zobrist is at first, and Gerard Dyson, he came in, but just not in enough time.
2 on 1 out to Almonte. Good slider.
Well, that could have been a huge break for Holland there.
Almonte was 0 for 2 against Medlin and then struck out against Madsen. Madsen did a great job coming on in the 7th inning. And now he missed another slider. No balls and 2 strikes. Chris Medlin was in very little trouble tonight in the 7th inning. Back-to-back singles for the Indians. And Ned Yost went to the bullpen and brought on Madsen, who struck out Almonte and Urshela to get out of the inning. Popped up, and Moustakas in foul ground will make the play. And now it's Holland and Urshela. Slider for a strike, 0-1. Urshela didn't agree.
Slider's his pitch. Fastball, not having a lot of confidence with it, and you know, if you're not convicted with it, don't throw it.
Oh, 2.
Good spot there.
And even if Holland is going to have nights like this where all he has is his slider, first of all, it's a very good slider, and he has different versions of the slider. More of a curve and then more of a hard biting one in the dirt.
And you know, Ned's mentioned it before, with his lack of his velocity, he still knows what it takes to close a game.
No swing, but the runners move up, and now the tying run is in scoring position with 2 down.
So the Royals 1 strike away from getting a much needed win. It's a good thing he didn't swing at that. He had bases loaded.
Fastball struck him out, so he saved one good fastball at 93, and Greg Holland gets the save.
Way to go, Hammer. Rios chipped in with his 4th home run of the day, of the season, excuse me. And you know, this is a huge win. Medlin stepped up. There's no question about it. That's where that swagger comes from, is that mound. And Medlin had it. Madsen, great job of relieving him. And then Davis and Hammer. Greg Holland got it done.
Well, Ned Yost has been saying the past few days that he's not that worried about the offense. What he needs is a good pitching performance. It's hard to hit Holland with 2 hands, let alone 1. And he got it tonight. A combined shutout. Medlin, Madsen, Davis, and Holland. Whew. Royals also, even though they scored 2 runs, doing what they do, scoring 2 runs with 2 outs. Perez, RBI single in the 2nd, and then Alex Rios with 2 down in the 5th, and they set the fireworks off. We had a lot of fun with that guy out in right field. And Joel, is that the first time that Rios has had the fireworks as a visiting player?
Well, let me ask him, Alex. First time you've ever had fireworks hitting a home run as the visiting player?
This is, you're right. This is the first time that's happened. It actually got me nervous because I heard all the people screaming and
all right, sorry. So you got nervous because you heard all the people screaming and thought
they were going to call it foul or something. So that's what happened.
Oh, we've never seen anything like it. Hey, you take it anyway, you can get it. How big was this for the team too, and you end up holding on to a 2-0 win?
Well, you know, we've gone through a rough stretch right now, and getting a win right now it's pretty important for us. You know, we're fighting for a spot also, and this win is big, like you said. We're just trying to create momentum going forward to tomorrow.
You have the best record in the American League, but with the slumping, sometimes people can forget that, wait a minute, things overall have been really good. What's the mindset been like in the clubhouse?
Well, I mean, we know that we can what we can do. You know, there's no panic. We know that things like these are going to happen at some point during the season, and we'd rather have this happen happen now than later on during the season. So. We're not worried. I think we're gonna be good offensively and defensively going towards the end of the season, and we're gonna be fine.
Last thing, how big was Chris Medlin for you guys tonight?
He was awesome. He was controlling his pitches like he wanted to, and he kept us in the game the whole time. So it was big.
Fireworks, a Gatorade bucket, and a win. Thanks for joining us, Alex.
It's awesome. Thank you.
All right, Alex Rios. So there you go. His first ever road fireworks display there. We'll have much more about that coming up with Ryan and Uncle Fester on the postgame show.
2-0 Royals win, and we'll be right back.